Hmm. So, lesson one, part one. Would you guess? Would you? I'm going to be looking at the directions here and the content and helping you understand that from in French. So, would you guess the verb to guess is deviner, like a divining rod? And would you is the conditional tense. So deviner. So devineriez is the ending that you put on top of the infinitive that makes it conditional. Would you guess? And in French, when you form a question, you can form it several ways. Inversion. That's what I'm going to do here. Devineriez-vous? It's when you inversion, like if you invert a sock, is you turn it inside out. So to invert for a question is you switch places with the verb and the subjects. Instead of you would guess, it's would, it's, which is vous devineriez. You transfer it so that it's deviner. Devineriez-vous? Would you guess? L'expérience is how you say experience. And in English, whereas they say European experience, in French, it's l'expérience européenne of shopping. Shopping is faire les courses, to do the courses. Could be the verb to be able to, which this would be, is the verb pouvoir. Different is différent. Que l'expérience américaine. So can you hear experience in there in American? Again, it's experience American instead of American experience. Our focus. So the word that you would use for focus would be, so the focus would be la mise au point. So you say that. To put in point. So the focus, la mise au point. Always practice like repeating after me. Okay, la mise au point is EST. La mise au point, A, and it's pronounced like a long A. Généralement. In general, if you have an adverb that ends in ly, in French it's going to be something similar with an ment at the end. Généralement. La mise au point est généralement, is generally. La mise au point est généralement on speed and convenience. Um, that's all the French I'll say. I'll switch back to English since this is the curriculum used. But the best way to learn French or any language is to use it for the communication that you actually need. Okay, and not just in lesson form. Uh, our focus is generally on speed and convenience, hence the innumerable inconvenience stores and mega department stores. In France, the focus is on fresh foods and specialty shops ready to window shop. So soon you'll be able not only master yet another part of the French language, but we'll also go over some tips. So the objectives here The objectives here are to express what can be purchased in specialty shops in Francophone countries, describe where things are located using prepositions, count from 60 to 100, explore Francophone specialty shops, and pronounce the French nasal consonant sounds. To complete this questions here, here's your study guide. Reviewing your notes before quizzes and tests can help you to succeed. You'll be able to check your answers once you've completed the study activity. So write out the words for the following numbers. So this would be 60 is how you say 60. And 67 would be 67. And there's a hyphen, which is called une traite d'union, like the treat of union. So set, you don't pronounce the P in, and it looks like this, 67. 100 is cent as in century. 75, you put as 60-15. So that would be 75. Soixante, that has an I. 75. And I'm going to say the letters as I'm writing. Q is Q, U is U, E is I, N is N, Z is Z, and U is E. Okay, for 91. Okay, 91. So the word for 80 is 80, which is like four score. Score is 20. And then, of course, 4 is 4. 80. And you put hyphens, des traits. Il faut is it's necessary. Il faut mettre des traits d'union. 91 is 91. And then 88 is 80, the same part right here. 88. Okay, so 80 is 80. And then you do the same thing with 80 that you do, or with 90 that you do is 70. It's 90, 80, and 10 is 90. There's not a separate word for 90. There's not a separate word for 70. You just use 60 and going up into the teens for 71. And for 91, you use 80 and going up in the tens. So 73 is 60 and 13. 73. So that's SOE. So I would say the names of the letters. SOE, X is X, A is A, T N, T E. 60, trait d'union, 13. 95 is 95. QUA PRE, trait d'union VINGJ. J is G and G is J. 80, which is 80, 80, trait d'union, QUI, NZE, 95 € is 95 euros. 77 is 77. 66 is 66. 99 is 99. Okay, follow the example and write the following amounts. So suivez is to follow. Suivez l'exemple. Can you hear the word example in that? Suivez means to follow. L'exemple is the example. And write, that's écrivez, similar to escribir, right? Sounds kind of like to scribe. Écrivez is to write. Uh, okay, so I'm only going to give you a little bit of French for each directions in the interest of time, since that's not the way the curriculum's written, okay? That's just for your edification. It's hard for me not to do that, though, because like note would be remarquer, at any rate. Okay, so note that the cents are called either cents or centime. Don't forget in French, the comma is used the way Americans would use decimal point. That's a good point. Okay. So, une robe. So they want you to write it out, right? They just want you to write out the number. So this would be 99. I'll just let you look up these. This would be 64. 64 is 64. And 99 is 99. 76 is 60 and 16. 76. And 50 is 15. Okay, so that's that. And they said to study the study guides. You probably recall to work with the numbers from 0 to 59. Time to put more numbers at your fingertips. So this right here just goes over the pronunciation. Be sure to go over those. The numbers 70 through 90 become interesting. Okay, that's already explained that to you. So go over the pronunciations here and practice mimicking them. That's like your language lab. 80. Notice that 80 has an S on the end of it, but all the other 80s don't. Okay. Quatre-vingt-dix is 90, and then notice 91. It's not 91, it's 91. And listen to the pronunciation, mimic it. It's important to practice sounding like it. Match each number on the left to its numeral on the right. So you have 71. So I'll let you figure that one out by yourself. Okay. Eric is a student in a high school in Quebec. They mark out of 100, just like in the United States. Take a pick at Eric's progress report. Luckily, he has a chance to bring up some of his grades. He must write out in French each grade that appears on the report card. Okay. So again, you can practice. This is just a study guide practice, so we'll take time to go over that. We'll stop at each thing. Some Francophone countries use the SWIFT method for stating numbers. From 70 to 90. Septante, huitante, and nonante. So in Switzerland and some of the Francophone countries where they speak it, they do have a number for 70. It's septante, 80 is not four score. It's huitante, and 90 is nonante. So for more details, it says log on to the link below. So go through that and explore that. Another way you might be using numbers in the future to count all the money you'll earn by using the French you've learned. You might be able to parlay your way into the career that helps you pull down extra dollars in countries around the world. Check out how many countries outside the USA use the US dollar as that currency. How many countries use the franc? Use the website below to gain insight into currencies used in French-speaking countries. Want to know how much the dollars you have in your pocket are worth in euros? Try this website to convert US dollars. So play with these things. I'll give you time to play with those. The euro is fairly near. I went on a Eurail pass. I guess you can still go on them. I'm going to stop this for a minute and see. Okay, so apparently there is still Eurail pass. You buy a single pass and then you get on and off, and you can buy it for like 33 countries, for 5 countries, 6 countries. Here are some of the popular ones. So you can even sleep on them at night because some of them have, some of them have, um, sleeper trains where you can sleep on them. But anyway. So you can check that out if you want to, but it's important. You have to change currency when you go from country to country, and so it's important to know the exchange rate. However, that differs daily. So that would be something to look into if you're planning a trip or just for your education. It's helpful to know when it's good to travel when the dollar is strong. For instance, I went to France the first time when President Jimmy Carter was president, and the dollar was only worth 4 francs. Whereas the next time I went, I think the dollar was worth 10 francs. Okay.